everyone, you have tuned into another Joseph Lens production. And today I thought I would show you my vintage 1993 Packard Bell 108 CD. This computer has been in my family since before I was born, and my mom's graciously allowed me to use this computer over the years to do notepad typing and other DOS related games and stuff. So it's kind of basically become my computer, even though she still owns it. So I'm basically the main user these days. But the only problem I can tell you currently, there's actually two problems. I'll address one that's software related and one that's actually physical. But let's take a look at the actual central processing unit here. It's just a Packard Bell 108 CD. The CD actually stands for what it comes with. It comes with a 3 1/4 floppy disk drive and a multimedia CD drive. And the only problem physically with the computer, if you'll watch here, the monitor is on standby right now because the light is orange. If I turn this off and let it sit for a minute to cool down, when I attempt to turn the monitor back on, I've got a little something wrong with it. I think the relay switch that's in this little button or something along those lines. I don't know exactly, but if I push it and I let go, as you can see, it doesn't always want to stay on. So you got to hold it like a glow plug switch on a car. You have to hold it for a minute and hope for the best that it gets enough electricity going into the system that when you let go, it keeps the power on, which it did. So let's go on and power on the central processing unit here. There's a second power button. Turn it on. And it's a BIOS version 1011 BBOR, 8,192 kilobytes of storage. It has a couple of errors that I need to work out. The first being with the CD drive. I think the little tether cable that's in the inside of the computer that connects to the main board, because it was stored when left alone for a while, the cable came loose. So it says that the interface board or CD-ROM drive is not ready, or my CD drive has gone bad. But here's the thing. If I push the button here, the drive opens just fine. So I don't know what the deal is. It just won't read disks. So it's currently booting Windows 3.11 for workgroups, and this is the second installation of this operating system. I'll explain why in a second, but let's just go on and let's maximize this page. Let's just go on and minimize everything. I'll just show you what the computer comes with. Minimize. So, very basic version of Windows. You've got the main software frame. You've got accessories, network, games, startup, applications, applications 2, and applications 3. So say we open games, you get the usual 3-pack of solitaire, minesweepers, hearts, all that fun stuff. In the main, you get control panel, all the peripherals you need to boot it, boot different programs, and then also that's the custom signature for this window. And if I just hit Alt Enter, it'll bring it up as an old prompt like you see in the newer Windows operating systems, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to type exit. And the other way you can access command prompt is just by pressing Alt F4, and that'll close Windows, which we're going to do in just a second. So minimize. So network, you get network setup, mail, schedule, remote access. Pretty basic stuff. It's got some other random programs that I never use. On this particular computer, the speakers, very, very interesting design on these speakers. So instead of just being powered by the central processing unit to get the electricity, you have to get a secondary Packard Bell registered AC adapter port that goes into the bottom part of the speaker. There's a little hole that runs down underneath here and it powers the second speaker that's on this side. Now if I were to just hook up this cable On this side, you would get a marginal amount of power. I have the cable right here, which runs into the central into the processor for the speaker on the monitor, and it'll play through one speaker, but the quality is not that great. So I need to somehow find an extension cord at some point and hook it up so it'll work correctly. So one day when we get that working, I'll make another video to show you the sounds. Now, when I exit out of this, you'll notice it says Norton Mustang. That's the root that I've set the auto execution.bat to load into, because I have a second partition set up on this computer to run a second copy of Windows. The reason being is evidently when this computer was being used a lot more, a virus got into the computer, and when I booted the computer up when I was maybe 10 years old, I'm just going to guess 10 or 11, I booted Windows and this happened. All of these 386 files in the filing cabinet got deleted, and the computer cannot find any of the necessary Windows operating files. Yet I was able to use a special DOS command to at least resurrect the operating system enough to get it back open. Now this is a special feature that came with the Packard Bell. It's the Packard Bell Navigator. It gives you the Learning Center, software, workspace, kit space. Unfortunately, the drivers are missing, so we can't use that. But you get all the other programs that the computer originally came with. But this version of Windows was corrupted to the point where it was basically unusable. So what I did was I went to CD Norton and I hit Setup. And it booted a Norton utility for setup, which is really, really, really cool. And I was able to resurrect the Windows operating system from factory, which was saved on the C drive, which this computer has maybe a 2.5 gigabyte hard drive plus the 500 or like the small amount of memory that you get with the 3.25. And I was able to install just enough space on the C, or had just enough space on the C drive to install a fresh copy of Windows 3.11, which I did, and that's why I have a second copy. Now to show you what I did to get it to work and boot the proper copy, because if it would have just done the original copy, it would have just booted to the C drive and typed win. So what I did is I did qedit auto exec.bat. I opened that up and I added a bunch of text path, which that's all fine. But what I did was once it reached the string here, I asked the computer to type CD Norton, CD Mustang, win, which CD stands for change directory, and then it's the name, and it boots the Windows operating system. That's the good type. So, pretty simplistic fix. And I'll show you what version of DOS we're running currently. So, VER. This computer is currently running DOS 6.20. So, that pretty much does a tour of the Packard Bell 108 CD. I will eventually show you the audio portion with all the cool sound effects when I can finally get the speakers working. But that's for another day. So, let's go and power her down. Thanks for watching.